and welcome to our last chapter about HTML. I hope that you have enjoyed the HTML course so far, and I hope that you have practiced, most importantly, everything that you have learned. So in today's tutorial, I am going to be teaching you how to make a full website with everything that I have taught you so far. Before you watch this video, I highly recommend you to really try to do a full HTML website by your own about anything that you want, okay? Try to do it before you watch this video. Now, if you have already done something, I hope that you share what you have done with us, and you can leave your projects in the comment section below. We're gonna be checking them out. Okay, now if you have taken advantage of all the videos that we have been posting so far, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And if you like my videos, please don't forget to give me a thumbs up. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so to get started in this final chapter, I'm going to be creating a website about myself. It's gonna be like a website saying, hey, this is Lixi, this is what I've done so far, and these are my services, and this is where you can contact me. That's pretty much what the website is going to be about. Now let me show you how the website looks once it's finished. Now, this is the website that we're gonna be building. As you can see, it has home, services, and contact links. If I click home, it takes me to about myself. If I click on services, it'll take me to the top 3 services that I have. And if I hit contact, then it's gonna throw the users to the contact form here where they can submit the form. And as soon as they hit submit, it'll give them this message: we have received your request, we will get back to you soon, thank you. And then you can click go back to Lixi, to AskLixi, and this is going to take them back, of course, to the main site. So as you can see, we have a lot of things here that we have used so far, that you guys have been learning so far, that we're going to be using. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started in building this website. Okay, so to get started with this website, the first thing that we want to do is create the folder in which we are going to be working, which is probably, I bet, something that you did to begin with when you started creating your own website, right? So we can either do this here, or we can open Visual Studio Code. So let's go ahead and do that and create a folder from there. Okay, so in fact, what I'm gonna do here, just so you guys can see how I do it, I'm gonna create just the folder here, and then I'm going to open the folder in Visual Studio Code. If you want to create something inside of Visual Studio Code, it'll probably be a file inside of the folder that we have created already. Okay, so let's just create the folder here to make it easier. Okay, so the folder name is gonna be my first full web page. Okay, I'm gonna name it like that. And now we're going to open that folder here in Visual Studio Code. You can hit open right away when you open Visual Studio Code, or you can go to the file section and then you can go here where it says open folder. And it still is going to give you the option to select which folder you want to open. So of course we're going to select the one that we just created, which is my first full web page. We're going to select that folder, and now that we have the folder created and opened here, as you can see, now we can create a file. So I'm going to close the welcome page here, and here on my first full web page, which is the folder where I'm at right now, as you can see here, I'm gonna create a file. Now this new file, I'm gonna name it index.html, just because this is gonna be my home page. So that's how I like to call them, okay? So index.html, and the first thing that you have to do, as you probably did, is create the template, right? The HTML template. So we did that by hitting the exclamation mark. Let's do it again, just so you can see. So you go ahead and you type in an exclamation sign, and all you have to do is click on it, okay? And when you click on it, you're gonna have an entire HTML template displayed on your screen, right? Now here already it has a language attribute, which it states that it's English. Whoops. Okay, and then we have some meta information here, which is the typical meta information that you're going to see on each HTML website. So I highly recommend you to go ahead and read about meta tags in W3 Schools, which is the site that we have always used to create our websites. Okay, so the title here, it says document. I don't want the title to be document. We're going to name this website AskLixi, which is going to be pretty much my website name. Okay, so the website is going to be named AskLixi. Now, one thing that we want to add here in the body section will be an H1. Okay, but I want to create a header. Actually, we're going to create a semantic element here, and we're going to add a header. Okay, we're going to add a header. And in this header, we're going to add an H1 stating, welcome to AskLixi. Okay, just like that. Okay, so welcome to AskLixi. Now we're gonna close the header. There you go. We're gonna close the header section, and I'm going to add an HR into our code, just to see pretty much a separation line, right? So I'm going to save this information, and let's open it up and let's see how it's going right now. Okay, so let's open the folder. We're going to open the folder, name my first full web page, and the index file. There you go. So you see, welcome to AskLixi, and now we have a line here. Perfect. So far is updating the information. Everything is going smooth. Okay, so the next thing that I want to add in here will be right after the header. I want to add a section. Okay, and inside of this section, I definitely want to add a navbar. Yep, I'm going to add a navbar. Now inside of this navbar, I'm going to add an unordered list. Okay, so we do that using the UL element. And inside of this, we're going to add some lists displaying the references, okay, for each link. So let's do a href. And for now, I'm just going to add a hashtag and just that. Okay, I just want to add a hashtag, just because right now we don't have the exact link of those web pages. Okay, so we're just gonna leave it as a hashtag, and I'm going to name this home. Okay, so that's what we're going to add. We're going to add probably like around 3 links like this. So let's see, 2, 3. Okay, now this link, I'm gonna name it services, and this other link, I'm gonna name it contact. Okay, now let's save all this information and let's see how it's looking. Okay, let's go back to our website. Let's refresh. There you go. So we have home, services, and contact. Pretty cool. Okay, now I want to add, after this section, again, we're going to add an HR, just a separation line, right? Let's refresh, and there you go. That's the line. Okay, so after this line that we just created here, let me take a look and see what the original site looks like. Okay, so I put a header saying about Lixi here. So let's go ahead and input that in here. Okay, so right after the line, we're going to add, let's make it an H2, which is not that big, but it's kind of big. Okay, so, or you know what, let's just do an H1, because we definitely want the about section to look big. So H1, and whoops. Okay, so inside of this H1, we're going to put something that it's going to say about Lixi. About Lixi, right? Now, about Lixi, I want to make it like the section that when you click home, these things are going to be guided to that specific portion or site of the website. So about Lixi is going to have the following. It's going to have an A tag, and we're going to add an well, actually what we're going to do is add a name for AskLixi. Okay, and this name is gonna be called home. Okay, so 1 second, name, and this is gonna be called home. Okay, just like this thing right here, home. And we're gonna close this, and what I want to do is close the tag to make it about Lixi. So I'm not adding an href. This is not gonna have like an underline where users will click on. What this is simply gonna do by having a name is that when they click on home, it's gonna take them to the About Lixi section inside of the same website without creating another web page. Okay, now what I want to do is also change this hashtag now that we know where the user is gonna go when they click home. To do that, we're going to input here. Yeah, let's just do at hashtag home. Okay, let's save this. Maybe we just have to add more information so that you can see how it's gonna work once we have added more info here. Okay, so after this h1, the next thing here that we see is this image. Okay, so I just saved the image here on my desktop. Now what I'm gonna do is move this image inside of my folder, the folder that I'm using with the index file that we just created. Okay, and I know that you remember how to add an image, so let's just go ahead and do it. Okay, so we just put here image, then we include the source, and then we're gonna look for the image that we just added. I think it was lixi.png. Yeah, there it is, lixi.png. And I'm gonna close this, and this, it should add the image, but let's see what's gonna be the size of the image here. Okay, so the image is too big. As you can see on the original site, it's not that big. So what we're gonna do is resize the image. Okay, so to resize the image, I'm gonna give it a width of 200 pixels, and we're gonna give it a height, and the height is gonna be about 250 pixels. I think that should be enough. Let's save this info. Let's refresh. Okay, there you go. Now it looks better as the original site right here. Okay, perfect. So now we have to add 2 paragraphs. Okay, so I'm going to copy the information of this paragraph. Let's go back to our web page, and I'm going to paste this paragraph here. Boom, that's number 1. It's a lot. And now I'm going to create paragraph number 2. Okay, hold on. Let me just copy the second paragraph, and I'm going to input that here. Okay, so there you go. So we have 2 paragraphs. Let's save this info. Let's go back to our site, and let's hit refresh. Boom, there you go, 2 paragraphs. And right after the 2 paragraphs, we have to add another line break here. So let's go back. And there's one thing that I want to do with this H1. Actually, I want to make this an article. Okay, I definitely want to make this an article. So all this section, my image with the 2 paragraphs, is going to be an article. That's what I want it to be. And of course, all this information has to go here. Okay, perfect. So it's looking good. So far is looking good. Let's just refresh. As you know, the article doesn't do it. It seems like it's not doing anything, but we definitely want to have this in the right order, in the right organization. So, okay, so we just added this article. Now, let's see. So now, okay, we added the HR here. No, we haven't added the HR. So right after the paragraph, let's do this inside of this article. So right after the paragraph, we're going to add an HR, and let's save this. There you go. So the line is there. And now check out some of my tutorials. Okay, we're still going to add this inside of the article just because I wanted to be there. Okay, so let's do that. And let's make this an H2 because it's something like secondary out of About Lixi. So we're gonna put here, what was it? Check out some of my tutorials. Okay, let's do that here. So check out some of my tutorials. I think it's like that, right? Okay, yeah, perfect. So we have 4 links here of tutorials from my YouTube channel, right? So let's go back to my source code and let's save this information. Refresh. Check out some of my tutorials there. Good. Okay, so now let's open YouTube. And when I go here to YouTube, I'm gonna go to my channel here. And what I'm gonna do is just select randomly 4 of the videos that I just created here. So let's select this one. Okay, I'm gonna pause it and I'm gonna hit share. I'm gonna copy all that information. Okay, and let's go back here. So the first video, we're gonna add that video here. Okay. We're gonna add that first video. Let's save that information and let's go back here to my website. Refresh. And there you go. I have my first video there. So let's add another video. Let's close this. Okay, so here I have another video. We're gonna do the same with all of the videos, as you already know. So let's just copy this, go back here, and let's add it here. Perfect. Let's select another video. There's one right here. Okay, so let's hit share. Copy this thing right here. Let's paste it and let's do one more because I added 4 on my original thing right here. So, okay, let's add this one right here. Let's hit share. Now we're gonna copy this information. We're gonna paste it here. Okay, so now let's save this. Go back to AskLixi and let's refresh. And boom, there you go. I have 4 videos now in here. Okay, so there you go. You have 4 videos here for my channel. Then what's the next thing we're gonna do? Okay, add another line break. I think this is enough for this article after the iframe. So once we just added the article, we're gonna add an HR here. Okay, and let's refresh this, and now the line is there, as you can see. Okay, perfect. So now let's take a look at the original site, and now we are going to input the services. So we're gonna make the services a section, and we're gonna make the services a section, and we're gonna make the contact me a section as well. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so we're gonna add a section here, section. And inside of this section, we're simply gonna add something. We're gonna add an H1. And inside of this H1, since this is the second section, probably we're gonna call this services. So we need to give it a name. We need to give this section a name. Okay, so a name, and the name is gonna be, what was the name on top? Services. So we're gonna give it a name of services. And let's see how, okay, yeah, so services. So let's name it services. Okay, we're gonna save this information and now we're gonna refresh. Okay, so see, it says services. Now we're gonna change here the hashtag of this other link, and we're gonna call it services. Whoops, we're gonna still leave the hashtag there. Okay, save it and let's refresh. Okay, now let's see. If I click home, it takes me to About Lixi. Now if I hit services, boom, it takes me down here. Perfect, so everything is working smooth. So let's go back here, home, services. Yep, it's going good, it's working good. I think I was clicking on the original one before. Okay, so top 3 services. That's the next thing we want to add here inside of our website. So after we have included the name, Okay, so what we're gonna do probably is add an H3 here. Just say top 3 services. Okay, and I'm gonna save this, refresh. There you go, top 3 services. Top 3 services right there. And now what we're gonna do is that we're going to add an order list so that you can use everything that we have worked with so far. So an order list, so it can be 1, 2, 3, just like that. Front end, back end, and app development. Okay, so ordered list. So we're gonna add an li saying front end development. And let's just go ahead and add 2 more because it's top 3, right? So it's 3 of them. Okay, so front end, we're gonna put here back end development. Let's type this here. And then let's do app development. App development. There you go. So now let's save this. And let's see. Refresh. Boom. There you go. Front, backend, and app development. And right after that, in this section, we definitely have an HR, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, we have an HR. Okay, so let's go ahead and add that HR in here. But let's do it after the section. Okay. Here we go. Save this. Hit refresh. And the line is there. Perfect. Okay, so now we're going to add a form in here. And what I want to do is that make sure to add this form in a section as well. So let's go ahead and add another section which is going to contain the form. Let's do that. So let's add a section. And we're going to add an H1 here. Oh, by the way, we want to name here about us or probably contact. So that when we click on the contact link, it goes here. Okay, so what we want to do here is add an A tag into this code with a name of contact. We definitely want to create a name of contact. Oops, forgot to add the quotes. Okay, inside the quotes, we're gonna add the name contact. Okay, and we're gonna be closing this A tag right after contact me. There. Okay, so now we have to change here on top hashtag, and we're gonna put here contact. Okay, see, contact. Okay, perfect. So let's save this, and right now we're gonna refresh. Now when we hit contact, boom, it goes down. Perfect. So we just added the tag. Now, once we have added the contact me form, let's see the original page. It has the, okay, so we're gonna add a first and last name email field, and then we're gonna add a text area where the users are gonna be able to input their text, and then a submit button. Okay, so let's go ahead and create that form here. First thing we have to do, let's go ahead and hit enter here. So we are going to add a form, right? So the form that we are going to add is going to have an action. We're going to add the action actually at the end so that you guys can see what I'm doing here. So the form here, okay, so we have the form. And now we're gonna add a label. The first thing we have to add is definitely a label, and we're gonna call this for, and we're gonna let's do first name, right? First name, the label for first name. So that way it can, whenever the users input something, it goes to this first name. Although we're not gonna be using that much because that's used mainly with PHP, and you will see that when we take a look at our PHP course. But right now we're in HTML. Anyways, so okay, so what we're gonna do here is input first name, first name, okay, and that's gonna be the label, first name. And then we're gonna add an input type. input type, and it's gonna be text, of course, because that's what it's gonna be like. Now let's add an ID, and the ID is gonna be first name so that it recognizes that's gonna be the input here, the ID. And then we're gonna add a name to this, which is gonna be first name as well. And what else? Oh, we're gonna add a value which is what the client or what the user is going to see. So in this case, let's just say John, because that's the most common name. So John, and let's add a line break here. Okay, you'll see why the line break. Actually, after the label, we have to add a line break. If not, take a look and see what it's gonna happen. So I'm gonna refresh this. So see, it says first name, and then right next to it, it gives you the suggestion that the first name could be John as an example. But here we want this tab to be down. So let's add a line break here. Okay, save this and let's refresh. Perfect. So first name, John. Okay, now what we're gonna do is just copy all this, because it's gonna be also an input type of text. And here we're gonna change it to last name instead of first name. Okay, last name. And text, let's just change the F for an L. And here also an F for an L. And last name Doe, John Doe. Okay. Okay, let's save this information. Let's refresh and let's see. Perfect. So first name John, last name Doe as a suggestion. Okay, now let's add the email section. We're gonna do another label. And inside of this label, let's do for email. Okay, hold on. For email. Yeah, we can definitely add a for email here. Okay. And we're gonna just name it email, of course, because that's where they have to input the email. And then the input type here is gonna be email. So let's just copy all this and paste this here. Okay, so the ID is gonna be email. And let's see. Name is gonna be email. Email, the value is gonna be example at gmail.com. Okay, and then the type is not gonna be text, it's gonna be email. Okay, so we're gonna save this. We're gonna hit refresh. And now there you go. Okay, now after the label, let's add a line breaks. Okay, there we go. So email, perfect. My email at Gmail, whatever, example at Gmail. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, now we're gonna add another label, which is going to be called, okay, so the label is gonna be called text box. Yeah, let's just call it for text box. Okay, text box. Okay, so this text box is going to say, how can I help you? How can I help you? And then here, we're not going to add an input, we're going to add a text area. Okay, so a text area, and this is gonna be a text area for the text area is gonna be for the text box, which is this one on top. And let's just leave it like that. And in here, let's say type your questions. So let's save this and let's refresh. Okay, perfect. So as you can see, let's minimize this. Okay, so as you can see, now we have here, how can I help you? And then type in your questions. Of course, we need to add a line break in here. Okay, so after the label, let's add a line break. And after the text area, let's also, well, let's just leave that till the end. Okay, so let's refresh. Perfect. So type your questions. Now, as you can see, the text area right now is a little bit small, and here it's bigger. So let's go ahead and make this bigger. What I'm going to do on the text area, we're going to add an attribute, and the attribute is going to be rows. We're going to make it 10 rows, and then we're going to input columns as well, and we're going to say 30 columns for this. Okay, so let's save this and let's refresh. Perfect. So now the text box is bigger and it says type your questions. Okay, perfect. So now what we're going to do is add 2 line breaks right afterwards, right after this, so that we can input, well, actually, let's input a type, which is going to be a submit button. Okay, and the value of the submit button is going to be called submit. Okay, just like that, submit. And of course, that's going to be the end of our form. So let's hit save and let's refresh. Now, if you don't want this button to be called submit and you want to name it something else, you can also, I don't know, let's send it send, capital letters, send. Let's refresh, and there you go, it's sent. Okay, so right now it's not doing anything when you click on it. That's because we need to add an action to our form right here. Okay, but to add that, we need to do the confirmation page now. So let's do that real quick. Okay, I'm going to add another web page here, and we're gonna name it confirmation. Oh my god, it's all capitals. Okay, so confirmation.html. Okay, and in here, let's just create another web page, and here we're gonna name it confirmation. Okay, so now here we're going to name it confirmation, or you know what, the title is gonna be just thank you. Okay, so thank you. Okay, so thank you. And then in the body section, we just want to display a couple of line breaks so that it can be centered. So let's just do maybe 3 line breaks. 7, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's just do 7 line breaks. And then we're gonna add a section here. And inside of this section, we're going to add an H1. And the H1 is going to say, what does it says when we click here, submit? We have received, okay, so it's going to say this, thank you. Okay, so let's copy this. Let's just paste that in here. And then here we're going to add just a paragraph right below that is going to say go back. Okay, so go back to AskLixi. Okay, so let's save this. And by the way, this it has to have the link of our website. I'm gonna add the link later. So what we want to do is have it center. And right now I'm pretty sure we don't have it center. So let's just go ahead and open the folder where the confirmation page is. See, this is how it looks like right now. I mean, in the original one, it looks center. So why? Because we're going to add some couple of spaces in there, and we're going to have to just test them out and see how many spaces do you need. So we're going to add an entity. Okay. An entity that it's called, oops. Okay. So let's just add an entity that it's called space. Let's add a medium space. And what I'm going to do is just add a couple of them, like a whole bunch of them, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. I don't know. I'm just adding a whole bunch of them. Let's see let's see how it looks like. Okay, so this is our original page, and this is the page we created. Let's refresh. Okay, now it looks better. Yeah, I think it's in the right order. Okay, so now we're going to give all those spaces that we have copied so far. We're going to copy all those spaces. Okay, and let's just copy them. And we're going to add them here. We're probably going to have to add a couple more there. But anyways, let's just save this, and I'm going to refresh. Oops, save this and refresh. So see, we're still missing some spaces there. I don't want to go too crazy, so let's just add them one by one. Let's just copy this and I don't know, let's just paste them. Okay, let's save that, refresh. Still need more spaces. Let's see how many we have there. Okay, just want to make it look center. Let's see the original one. It's all the way there in the middle section. Okay, let's keep on adding spaces until it reaches the medium or the center of the site. Okay, save this. Perfect. It looks well now. Now it looks center, as you can see here, but we need to add the link. And we actually need to link this page with this one right here. Okay, so that when you click, let's close the original one. So when you go ahead and you click send, let's refresh this. When you click send, right now it's not doing anything. It goes to this thank you page. Okay, so how do we do that? Of course, we're gonna have to add an action. Okay, so the action is going to be confirmation.html, which is the name of the website. Okay, that's the name of the website. So action is going to be confirmation.html. Okay, so let's save this, refresh. Now when we hit send, boom, it gives us this. But now I cannot click on go back to Lixi right now. So we definitely want to make sure that we can go back to AskLixi here. So how do we do that? Very simple. Let's go back to our code right here. And what we're going to have to do in this paragraph, actually just to this section right here, all the way till the end, we're going to add an H reference, and we're going to go to index.html. Okay, that's what we're going to send this link to go to. So let's just input this here. Okay, let's save this, and now let's refresh. Perfect. So now when I click back to AskLixi, it takes me back to AskLixi. Okay, when I hit send, you will see this page right here. And when you click back to AskLixi, it's going to take you back to AskLixi. Now, the form itself, right now, it's not working. If you input some information there, it's going to get erased. It's not going nowhere. I'm not receiving that information because you need to know the server-side language to do that. And we're going to be studying that in our future courses, okay? So, okay, so the form section is done now. All we have to do is add, I think it's the original page had a line break. Let me open the original page. Okay. Okay, so on the original page, we have a line right after the form. So let's input that line here. I can close the confirmation page now. Okay, after section, I'm going to add an HR. And let's hit refresh. Oops, this is the original one. Okay, so let's hit refresh. And there you go. So now we see the line. And what are we going to do now? Okay, we're going to add a footer. So I'm going to add another section here. I'm going to add another section. And this section, I want to call it, this section, I want to add the footer inside. And inside of this footer, we're not going to make it that complicated. As you can see on the original site, I just added something that says all right reserved. Okay, so on the footer, what we're going to do is add a paragraph saying, first adding an entity, which is the copyright entity, this one right here. And we're going to say all rights reserved 2020. Save this, hit refresh, and scroll down. Boom, there you go. All rights reserved 2020. And if you want, we can also do something which on the original site that I created, I didn't do, which is add some links at the bottom of this page. So I'm going to create another paragraph. This is just me going the extra mile here. Okay, so after this, I'm going to add another paragraph section, and I'm going to add these three home services and contact links at the bottom. How do I do that? I go to the Navbar section, and I'm just going to copy the unlisted elements that I see here. Actually, I'm just going to copy all of them. But I'm going to only copy the A reference for each one of them. Okay, so I'm going to copy this to the bottom section of my paragraph, this one right here, and I'm going to add just a special character. Okay, then I'm going to hit enter. Okay, let's just add this. Okay, now let's copy the A for services. This is just me being lazy and not just copying them, typing them one by one, as you can see. I apologize for that, but this is quicker. Okay, and let's add the special character, and then let's just do that one more time with the contact. Okay, copy contact. Perfect. And I'm going to add the special character there. Okay, so I think that should look good now. Let's go back to our website and let's refresh. Perfect. See, home, services, and contact, without adding the nav bar section, because this is the footer section. So I just want to add a couple of elements here. Okay, so there you go. That's how you create a full website using HTML. Now, the next adventure that you probably are going to have is to make this HTML website look pretty. So that's a challenge that you are going to have to take by studying CSS. Okay, so I hope this very long tutorial was useful for you and has given you a guidance in how to create your first full website with HTML only. Now, if this video was useful for you, if you liked it, make sure that you give me a thumbs up. And as well, remember to subscribe to my channel. I am always uploading new videos, new content with useful information for web developers and much more. And also remember that you can always ask Lixi. Bye everyone. See you again in the next episode.